to say, very nice building. Probably one of, if not the nicest historical building that I've seen so far. As far as modern design goes, I guess. Oh, that is subjective. It's Kansas Historical Society. There's a house right here. I guess it's they actually have the the 6 feet apart thing. They give you a reference as this little Kirby car. But there's it's kind of the entrance to the museum. Pretty cool. And if there's anything interesting, I will show you. I know the lighting isn't good quite here, but apparently this knife was used by a serial killer in southeastern Kansas in the 1870s. He killed at least 11 people. I don't know whether he killed them all with that knife, probably not, but very interesting. And here's more of a historical section. Well, not, it's all historical, but like a prehistory kind of thing. Very interesting. So here is I guess it doesn't look like a teepee. It's some sort of, it's a housing, but I don't think it would be considered a teepee. But then again, I'm not an expert. Let me see. Right here, they also have sort of how they would use makeup. You would do the tattoos for Native American face paints right there. It's very interesting. I don't see where it says a name for these things. So here is some things that Native Americans made, and it's very cool. And it's less, for me at least, the aesthetics of it, but it's more so how they use materials and how they kind of take raw materials without much processing, at least with like mechanical processing, things like that, and they make very unique designs out of it. Like, I guess that's leather, maybe? I'm not sure. Let's see. Rawhide. Yeah. Very cool. And there's also this clothing right here. I just think that stuff is very interesting. Let's see. I'm playing with toy teepees. Okay, so that's like a miniature teepee, I guess a kid would play with. I guess it's like a dollhouse sort of thing. And then here is an actual teepee. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see how that would be better than the one we looked at earlier. So, I really like these where they show kind of what the nature would have been like, or what the nature scenes essentially. And I started thinking, what would it be like to see a bison for the first time and not know what it looks like? I mean, because most of us, we see animals and we see a picture or even a drawing or something, but imagine seeing this for the first time. Would you be scared, do you think? That I'd definitely be scared of. So this exhibit is showing about basically when they were traveling in wagons. I'll go show a wagon in a second. But they were dying all the time. It says that sometimes as many as 2/3 of the people riding a wagon would die. They would try, little archaic medicines, I guess, and then they would have like blood draining to get the bad blood out. Apparently not very useful, but this was like a grave, and they would just leave it. And here's the wagon. So this is the exhibit on Bleeding Kansas, and for people who don't really know a lot of the Civil War U.S. history, basically this was a very big deciding state on, as we were expanding west, mostly northern states wanted to be free states, and the southern states wanted to be slave states. So Kansas, it kind of became like a big battleground for it. There was a lot of fighting, there was a lot of protesting, things like that. So this kind of helps, get to the boiling point of civil war. And this is a very interesting grave. It's saying, his death was bad for his friends and family, but it was really great for everyone else. So, kind of, I've never seen a gravestone like that before. Very, very interesting. And here kind of is the players within the bleeding Kansas situation. Also, look at this. It's like an American flag. It has free Kansas. This is what kind of baffles me is you have so much of this. This battle is like very clearly, hey, we want to be a slave state. Hey, we want to be a free state. And yet people will say, oh, it wasn't about slavery. It was about states' rights. States' rights to have slaves. A little bit of that shouldn't be political anymore. That's not. That's silly. But I mean, this is just a really interesting thing. Just how many people came here and fought for it. Oh, and what is this? A Southern Rights flag. I've never seen that before. That's very interesting. And I'm from Alabama, so it's actually kind of a nice flag, other than being really torn up. Also, another part of it was that there was like a big voting scandal. I know Americans now are tired of those, but they used to exist too, where Missourians went across to Kansas to vote on whether it would be a free or slave state, and Missouri was a slave state, so they were going across to vote pro-slavery in a state where that was mostly inhabited by Northerners from New Hampshire. Very interesting. One of my worst nightmares when doing these videos has showed up a group of students. And they're very loud, and you can probably hear them now. Also, this is the first Kansas black troops. It was a militia of black Americans who were, working together to fight against the Confederacy. Very interesting.